Oh, I gotta read this.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Drexel Free Thought Society Weekly Podcast. Sorry for the brief delay, but we'll make up for it with incredible enthusiasm, because we're talking about depression
And gerbils.
Yay! And religion. I'm David Devitt, I'm the president's organization. The Drexel Free Thought Society. I can speak words. The Drexel Free Thought Society is founded and dedicated to promoting a secular organization at Drexel University. We strive to make people that don't happen to believe in a God feel comfortable and able to be themselves, but we also gladly invite discussion, debate, of aggressive shouting, calling people names, looking up people's skirts, and finding out exactly what's going on in your head.
What?
Yeah, we don't actually support that last one. Or the one before the last one. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Looking up people's skirts? How dare you? What?
Not women.
Only on Tuesday.
It's a Scottish man. Why are you being so racist? What?
No, you see what I'm saying, is you don't look up them when they're wearing them.
Oh, okay, that makes
Wow.
Okay.
I have no idea where I'm going with this. I probably wasn't going anywhere. Dante?
We can talk about something in the atheist news. I guess we will.
Go Dante!
Okay. So thanks to Colleen, she inspired me to look this up, and this is interesting because this kind of fits me. And it's from August 7th, 2013. The U.S. military has a problem with atheists. Now,
Yes!
For those of you who don't know, I used to be in the Army for about 8 years, so this immediately just caught my eye, so I must read it. And once my computer will scroll, here we go. Stop it. Okay, here we go. Excuse me. Apparently, the Marine Corps thinks a quote-unquote lack or loss of spiritual faith could be dangerous. When an active duty Marine was given a Marine Corps training document describing potential risk indicators, that's also in quotes, commanders should look for to prevent loss of life along service members. He found one checkbox that didn't seem to fit. Among warning signs like substance abuse and prior suicide attempts was, quote-unquote, again, lack or loss of spiritual faith. So,
I do remember this story now.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Concerned... Stop, computer. I hate this thing so much. Concerned that this was a discriminatory policy, the Marine notified the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, I actually did not know they existed, a non-profit dedicated to keeping religion separate from the U.S. military. The organization, which told me that it plans to sue the U.S. Marines unless the government backs off this policy, says this is the military's latest effort to discriminate against service members who don't believe in God. Advocates for the policy say the military is simply doing everything it can to promote emotional well-being among troops, especially in the face of its growing suicide epidemic. Last year, the U.S. military saw more active duty soldiers commit suicide than die in combat. 48 of them were Marines. The whole concept of judging service members based on their spirituality is completely unconstitutional, says Mikey Weinstein, a former Air Force officer and founder and president of MRFF. This country was founded on a very critical principle. The founding framers looked at the horrors that occurred throughout history by mixing religion and war, and they said, we're going to separate church and state. And that means they cannot test for religion in the military. Almost done. The training document does not specify how a commander is supposed to test whether a Marine has spiritual faith. Weinstein claims that the preliminary computer test, Marines are asked questions like, what do you think of when you see a sunset? Wow, that's kind of weird. But it does say that...
I think the sun is trying to attack us.
Indeed it is.
It's rounding up to leap.
but it does say when a Marine is identified as high risk, a Force Protection Council, that's another quote-unquote, will interview, monitor, and recommend further action at the Council's discretion. The Marine Corps did not respond to our questions about this policy. This is hardly the first time the military has tried to govern the religion of its service members. Until 1972, each U.S. Service Academy required soldiers to attend weekly religious service. I'm going to repeat that again. Until 1972, each U.S. Service Academy required soldiers to attend weekly religious services, and only Protestant, Catholic, and Jewish worship services were available, according to Blake Page, special assistant to the president of the MRFF. Until 2011, the Army required soldiers to take a survey that measured spiritual fitness. I actually don't remember this test. And
Question.
soldiers...
What is spiritual fitness?
It's when you bench a bunch of Hail Marys.
I think we'll get to that in a second. I'm actually almost done.
Thank you.
And soldiers who failed were told that improving your spiritual fitness should be an important goal. Defending the test in 2011, Brigadier General Rhonda Cornum told NPR researchers have found that spiritual people have decreased odds of attempting suicide and that spiritual fitness has a positive impact on quality of life, on coping, and on mental health. The Marine Corps document also notes that as risk indicators for early death are derived from scientific studies. But Page argues that this logic
Is that in quotations as well?
Yes, it is. But Page argues that this logic is flawed because studies that come to the conclusion that religion reduces dangerous behavior, quote unquote, only measure religiosity through religious service attendance. This is a failed conclusion because attending a regular social activity of any sort produces the same external community of support that a religious community provides.
I think you just nailed it on the head there. It's like, of course, unless you're an incredible loner, which there's nothing wrong with that, but if you're not a complete loner, then of course being around people will make you less unhappy.
Oh boy.
I mean,
Research dollars well spent.
I think they need psychologists, not religion.
Psychologists, not chaplains.
Yeah.
I'm gonna touch on that in a second.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Is like there are no atheist chaplains.
No,
They're not
you
needed.
shouldn't have to be.
No, I think
I actually know
No.
a chaplain who's an atheist.
I do too.
Yeah.
But the idea is that there's no like, I'm going to use spiritual in like extreme quotes here, but it's like, who does a atheist service member talk to if they have issue with, I'm forced to kill people, but I don't think it's right?
Well, that's just
Like,
Maybe some
who
sort
do
of
you talk
a
to
counselor
about
or
that?
something, maybe?
Yeah, that'd be great if they had counselors.
that's what I'm saying. Psychologists. Go
It's like-
help them, or it's not even psychologists, like psychiatrists. Anything to do with mental
Maybe
health.
some sort of
they
philosopher,
kinda
like
do.
like I know there's ethics councils.
But ethics isn't as much to do
Yeah,
with
ethics is really
morality.
morality.
Yeah,
it's more
it's-
like,
Ethics
should
is
we
a
or should
study.
we not
Yeah.
use this drug or something?
It's an analyzation of, well, that's what I think.
Whereas if you went to a psychiatrist, that's more of like a personal mental hygiene.
It's like, how do you feel today?
Uh-huh.
I feel bad.
Few
I
more-
murdered 3 families.
few-
Well, why did you do that?
Oh yeah, a few more
I was told
sentences.
to. I'm in the army.
So, did you not
Hold on.
think
Hold on,
about the
guys.
consequences?
Few more sentences. Why?
That-
Yes, I would go to jail if I didn't. Did you touch my gavel?
Yes, I did. Paul
That
Logan,
sounded so long.
an active duty Marine and the military director for American Atheists, agrees with that sentiment. He says that in his 8 years of service, the Marine Corps never required him to take a religious test, although, quote unquote, they do have one available. But notes that he was initially denied the right to put atheist on his dog tags. When Logan tried to seek counseling from a chaplain, he was asked to end every session with a
Question,
prayer.
why is your religion on your dog tags?
So they know how to bury you.
corpses.
I don't know, thank you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or bury what's left of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if that's
Or at least where to bury your dog tags.
And you know, what ceremony you want done, I guess?
Yeah, I guess it's like a preemptive.
It's like guys, spoilers, but I'm coming in on wires from the rafters.
I just put no affiliation on my dog tags. 'Cause
NA.
that was the time I was still exploring.
They just don't want
But
a
in
Jew to
case-
get pissed off when he gets a Christian burial. Because I'm pretty sure they would get pretty pissed off.
Wait, hold on.
If I get a Christian burial, I'm haunting your asses.
Sorry. It made the whole situation very uncomfortable, especially when I had a very serious problem to deal with, Logie says. Last month, Representative Robert Andrews tried and failed to amend the 2014 National Defense Authorization Act so that non-theist chaplains could be part of the military, a proposal that drew fierce opposition from some Republicans. Representative Mike Conaway told the Huffington Post, I cannot imagine an atheist accompanying a notification team as they go into some family's home to let them have the worst news of their life. And this guy says, you know, that's it. Your son's just worms. I mean, worm food. That was quote unquote.
But you
also.
don't freaking say that.
Yeah. But Logie says that when he was in charge of drafting a forced preservation policy for his unit,
You see what the difference is? It's much better if you lie to their parents.
pretty
Makes
much.
them feel better.
2 more sentences. Similar to the one found to discuss spiritual faith, he thought that exposing everyone's private religious beliefs would have eroded trust among his fellow Marines. A religious requirement, quote unquote, does quite the opposite of preserving the force, he says. There are many service members, past and present, that have served honorably and continue to serve without believing in God, and there's no reason to believe they can't continue to do that today. So that is the end of that. Just to give you my personal experience, I've actually became good friends with several of my chaplains, and they were Christian and everything. Because at the time, I was going through some emotional distress. I'll just leave it at that. And I told them that I don't believe in God, or I'm not sure of God and stuff. And they were like, "Oh, okay," you know. And they didn't force me to do any kind of prayers or anything. They just talked to me like a normal human being. So I was really believing that.
Yeah, honestly, if you must have spiritual nonsense, if you have to have spiritual nonsense in the military, at least have it be someone who's capable of talking to everyone.
Like a non-denominational sort of.
Well, non-denominational to the extreme.
Okay.
To be like, oh, do you believe in a god? Oh, I believe in the magic volcano.
Nope.
All right, does the magic volcano care about you? And then you just continue
Yeah.
with whatever they believe in.
Magic volcano.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, when you're in a battle situation, I don't care what you find spiritually fulfilling.
Not at all.
If you're just like, you know what I find spiritually fulfilling? This gun strapped to my chest.
Awesome. Go with it.
Believe me, I had to wander the desert with an M16 and a 203 grenade launcher under that stuff. So that was the thing that was going to save me.
Can you look up the Under God in all public schools thing?
Under
If
God.
that was something that happened either this week or last week.
We covered it.
Oh, we didn't cover that?
Yeah, last
We,
week.
we all got really pissed off about it.
I don't remember what happened last
Oh
week.
yeah, we sure did.
Oh, we're
Alright.
talking about putting like quotations around everything.
Yeah.
That does
Quotes
sound like
around
us. Anyway, there's another thing. This is a small little news bite in Spartanburg, which must be the greatest name of anything ever.
Oh yeah.
This is Spartanburg.
Okay, continue.
I'm sure they have T-shirts.
I'm
that
pretty
say
sure everyone hates everyone in this town. It's like everyone hates the country. I don't know like any information about this, but apparently a soup kitchen turned away an atheist volunteer.
Yes.
What?
Or several atheist volunteers.
Well, that's pretty.
What does
Oh.
religion have to do with volunteering?
No, because atheists can't care about people. So obviously they would have poisoned the soup. Or bread. Because, you know, that's totally what atheists do.
They don't bless the soup, so they're
We're incapable of helping people, so we're not going to let... No, it's like, you atheists are incapable of helping people, so we're not going to let you help people.
I do more service than some people I know.
Well, why did they even
Really?
ask them their religion in the first place? That's the one thing. It's like, why does it matter?
You see, my questions for volunteering in a soup kitchen are just like, are you a criminal?
Are you going to rape someone?
It's like, are you going to steal?
sociopath?
It's like, are you going to
criminal?
steal from these? Honestly, I think we're answering our own questions. I think that's what a lot of religious people actually think atheists will do. Because they're atheists, they'll just rob. They'll just rob and steal and do terrible things to.
It's funny
soup
because
pots.
there was a.
Well, yes, obviously, you know, the only reason that we're good is because, you know, people are good is because they believe in God, and God's going to punish them. And
Yeah, so there must have been some terrible alternative meaning behind I want to help the homeless.
It's funny
God made them
because
good. That's how
You actually look at one of the studies. I don't really remember which study this was, but atheists do more charity work than any other religious
It's like
denomination.
I think the way that it says it is technically they don't, but the studies count going to church as like charity work.
Oh.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like, oh, because you're giving money to the church, that means you're donating to a charity.
Did you also look?
If
did
you
also
cut
look at
out
Christians?
direct donations to the churches, it's like I'm pretty sure atheists win, or just the non-religious
But
win,
the thing is
which
that
include a lot of other people.
religious do it. It's like an obligation. When atheists do it, they're just doing it out of the goodness of their heart, while trying to, you know, help a cause that they want to help in the first place. Like,
Yeah, that's true for a lot of religions. Like, I know in Islam, like, once a year, you are required to give charity. And if you don't give charity, you're going to go to hell. So they do it out of requirement, not necessarily because they believe in
that's
the
a really
goodness of
crappy
giving.
reason.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, I give charity, like, every time I start a new job, like, out of my first paycheck, I'll put a certain % towards giving it to charity. That's just what I do.
Like apparently, the case of these people, the reason they were turned down from volunteering wasn't clear at all. The director of the soup kitchen just said that atheists are banned from joining them.
The donating to charity thing. I remember when we were going to church, my church would have a donation, and you pass the basket around, and half of what went into the basket went to a different church, and that church would use the money to buy clothes for the kids to fund their school, which was like pretty much the only school in the neighborhood. It was a very impoverished neighborhood, so they would take part of what you gave the church and send it to someone who's needy. And the parishioners knew that, so everyone would give pretty generously. Because, everyone kind of looked at their wallets and said, you know what, I'm doing okay. I'm going to give money to this church.
Do you know what you could do?
Just give it directly to them.
Yeah. And we could give more money to people that actually need it.
Yeah, but people would go, oh, I'm donating to the church and to charity at the same time.
Well, that,
So they multitask.
That's, I mean,
I feel good about myself.
I understand what you're saying, but then some people, even when it's not to a religious denomination, they do it out of a social obligation, not like someone saying, like, you have to do
that does
this,
happen
but
with
it's
everyone,
like,
though.
oh, that is true.
Like, I've been to the Ethical Society, and they do the same thing. That building is funded solely from the people that give them money.
Yeah.
And the person's walked past me, and I've been like, I have $5 in my wallet, but I wanted to buy a sandwich, and I'm like, fine.
I guess it's kind of like the same thing as if, like, you see
it's kind of like they let you into the building and they entertained you with thought-provoking something or whatever the reason you walked into the building for.
Well,
so you kind of feel like I should give them money for this.
Well, it's kind of like if you're walking by and somebody's drowning and you can do anything, like you can help them out, but instead you just walk away and there's other people there. They're gonna be like, that bad person.
I know, there's the idea of just the pure social pressure. Yeah. It's just like, oh, I gave money. Why didn't you give money?
They have little slips in the pews that say, I donated online. So you can take that out of the pew, put it in the basket goes by, and then they just take it right out of the basket, put it back in the pew. No social pressure, and it's less overhead for the church. Like, the psychology of giving is so weird.
That could be an entire podcast.
Yeah.
Wow. The tithing.
Well, actually, to note, next week we're going to have a special guest.
Ooh. What's the guest?
Oh, you're going to have
his
to find out
girlfriend.
later.
Is he?
Well,
I know who it is.
No one knows who it is. Don't say anything.
I do.
I'll reveal it later so that
Begins with
people can
H.
actually be prepared for it.
Begins with H.
No, it doesn't. It begins with a Q. And a
Quentin.
7.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yes, yes, internet people. Quentin Tarantino. No, he's not.
Is he Vegas?
I don't care.
Whoa.
Anyway, those are the main news bites that I knew about. Just this soup kitchen thing and whatever. So yeah, let's move on to the actual topic. Unless anyone has any other news bites or any other
Depressing.
fun things to say.
I didn't do my homework, so.
It's okay. I was doing my
Are you
homework
depressed?
classes.
Are you depressed because of it? That's perfect!
Sure.
You're depressed? Hooray! Alright, so there have been numerous studies, all of which I did not feel like looking up, but I have read previously. So you'll have to take my robust voice as evidence that what I'm saying is accurate. I know you'll do the right thing, Internet. There have been a lot of studies on the subject of religiosity and depression, and largely it's like 50-50. Like, there's a lot of studies that say that having some religious belief makes you tend to not be depressed, but then other ones say that, especially the Catholics, are significantly more depressed, especially at the end of their lives.
Well, yeah.
And that's from intense indoctrination. Yes, Axel.
Is religiosity an actual word?
Yes, it is.
Oh my god.
Well, if you were a Catholic and you had to sit through years of Catholic Mass, you'd be depressed too.
Well, it's not even, apparently it's a lot to do with I don't know if I'm going to hell or not.
Exactly, like
I
that.
was just making a joke, but okay.
It's more like fear, isn't it?
Well, yeah, fear causes depression.
No, but fear is.
Learned helplessness.
I mean, more like
Yeah,
apathy.
that's actually
causes
perfect. Is
depression.
a lot of different religions, especially the Christian ones. I can actually say that now, which is really weird. All the Christian religions seem to have a big thing with forced learned hopelessness. It's you are worthless. You are doomed to a life of eternal suffering. There's nothing good about you. But don't worry, when you
Man
die,
is a
you'll
sinner.
it's like don't worry, when you die, as long as you accept Jesus, you'll be fine. Otherwise, you'll suffer for all of eternity.
So they make death sound better than life.
Did you hear most of the words I just said? Unending torture.
No, but it says that if you accept Jesus Christ, when you
Yeah.
die, you have a better life ahead.
Yeah, that part. They made death
Yes.
sound
This is why.
But are you
This is why-
accepting him enough? That's the question.
Yeah, this is why it's such a mixed bag. It depends on how you are indoctrinated.
That's kind of like that's kind of like if you're raised in a abusive household and your parents tell you like you're doing all these things wrong and literally just come up with reasons why to not like you and say like you're wrong, you're a piece of garbage, and then at the end they say as long as if we you think we're right all the time, it's all right. We'll give you a cookie at the end of the day.
Effectively, yeah. So you'll go through the entire course of the day, going like, man, I really want that cookie, but I'm just such an awful person. I don't think I deserve it. I should praise my parents more so they know that I deserve having a cookie.
It's really ridiculous.
Yay.
And it's a delicious, mouth-watering oatmeal raisin cookie.
No, not oatmeal raisins.
I love oatmeal raisin.
Raisins are the scum of the earth.
No, I like the oatmeal raisin cookies with like the cream.
Okay, I probably
Ooh,
said that.
yes.
Throughout the conversation.
Okay, back to
Also, I noticed that we're like gender segregated again. Why does this keep happening?
I
Because
didn't
you guys
even
sat
notice
down
that.
first.
Well, actually, the males are over there. Females are over there.
And look how better organized we are over on this side. All
Hey,
sitting in
that's
a
my
perfect
laptop
triangle.
you're using for the podcast. Shut your mouth.
He knows how to use it better. You will be relinquished.
Really?
Yes.
Really, Dante?
Yeah.
Really?
See.
Really?
She's our admin. She can destroy us.
I will delete everything.
Dante's not my real
She
name.
can
I will
destroy
delete
the
System 32
server.
as
Actually, I
well.
think technically it could be considered Drexel property, so I could get you expelled.
Ooh.
And
Like
sudo
even the
all.
YouTube account?
Possibly.
We're Drexel property? That makes me feel so welcomed.
I need to deport it to me.
Delete
Oh,
the
it's
root partition. That's how
Nice.
you can destroy them.
Don't give people ideas.
Destroy. Anyways.
You guys are depressing.
Hey, you know
fun
what else is
people. We
depressing? Religion.
Yeah. Now,
I think one of the reasons why religious people might be less depressed, as some studies suggest, is because they have a secure group of friends, and it's this group that they can meet with every single week, and here's the thing. I remember I had a friend who her sister had moved to a new city for a job, and she didn't know anybody, and everyone at her workplace was far older than her. Like there's really not that many opportunities to find like a secure social group if you know absolutely nobody in the city. Or church is kind of
It's
you're all set,
it's an automatic social group.
yeah, like please welcome. We'll accept you as long as you accept Jesus.
You're
Just be aware that
kids.
Jesus is part of our group.
And as long as you don't, and if you don't accept Jesus, get out.
Yeah.
You're with the cool kids.
That's more like a bunch of self-loathing people just like going together and saying like,
Yeah.
as long as if you believe that you're just a piece of garbage, you can join us and wallow in our own misery that we all share with each other.
It's kind of like the South Park goths,
What?
Oh yeah,
where they're all just like, life is an eternal darkness.
yeah.
Maybe
That's
we should
right.
get more sunlight.
It's like goths are the true Christians.
What is a
misery
true
loves
Christian?
company?
Goths, I just said so.
Oh, I hate that. I always think it's hilarious when someone like a Christian criticizes another Christian about how Christian-y they are.
Oh my
like,
god.
I know it's serious. Like, okay, can I?
No,
can I-
personally, it makes me really happy to see that happen.
It's really fun. Like, okay, so like I remember I was riding in the car with my friend one time, and she was going on. She's like, yeah, like she's like so and so lacks like a maturity in their faith. I mean, I know you don't get this because you're not religious or whatever, but like she was saying like the wrong type of prayers, like because like
Whoa.
like our school when I was in high school, our school had
Oh
had a shooting scare. Like we thought. Like someone was gonna come into the building and shoot everyone up. Like we had a scare like that because there was people calling the school and making threats. There was
No, it can happen.
yeah. So like there was this day like pretty much everyone stayed home from school because they were freaked out that they were gonna get shot. Nothing happened, but so like she's like, oh, that day, I called up my Sunday school teacher, and we said prayers together on the phone, and she's like, and so and so said the wrong type of prayers, and she's like, also so and so lectures me about like what I wear to church, and she's like, and she really shouldn't. She's like, his God can see what's in my heart, he doesn't care if I wear jeans.
It's like, does she say anything in church? She's not allowed to do that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Biblical smackdown.
Actually,
and I was just like sitting there and just like, I love when someone's like, yeah, you're not a true Christian. Like, you're not a, like they're
It's a rhetorical
Christian
device.
groups.
No, saying someone's not a true Christian is a tacit way of saying, I'm better than you, and you should feel bad about it.
Assimilate with me, basically.
No, not
You're
even.
doing it completely wrong.
Because I really think it's the whole, whatever pieces of the book, of a religious book that you take to heart, all that says is what kind of person you are. So if you take really literalist biblical sayings extremely personally and claim them to be your own, all it does is reflect the dark, petty nature in your own heart.
Let's say David.
oh, I guess that speaks well for me because I literally took nothing that the Bible had to say. Darn, I just said, yeah, Jesus exists. Yes. And that's it.
I heard you like Noah's Ark.
Oh,
You
yeah.
see, I only take the hilarious, partially out of context things to heart. Because I find them hilarious. So I went off into the country looking for men that I thought would be able to please me. Those that had those that had the like organ of a donkey and the admission of a horse.
Yeah, what?
It's your favorite verse, I know it is.
God.
It's one of my favorite biblical verses.
What is? I'm so confused.
I like the bit where
It's like this woman lamenting on the fact that she wants to like meet a man who has the prosperity of a donkey and the admission of a horse.
She wants a beast in bed.
I know.
Quite literally.
But they'll skip that part in church. Also, the part about the two bears mauling all the kids. to make
that's
fun
what I
of
was
the
gonna
ball
say,
game.
yeah.
That's
That's
my
kind of
favorite.
like Desperate
You know
Housewives.
what would be
of the
really
Bible.
interesting
Or
is like having a Christian who would actually like follows all the like a really like they're like, yeah, gays are fine in my book, like or whatever, but like they follow like the really obscure rules and they're like, yeah, oh my god, you're wearing cotton and satin together.
You're wearing
How
polyester.
dare you? And like we're like, yeah, we don't care if you're gay, if you have sex, go for it, but like
Oh yeah, and for,
just use that
cotton
contraception. But
and for the record, those two rules are in the same book.
Literally.
So all those anti-gay people, if you're wearing polyester, you're a hypocrite.
Mm.
Isn't everything
Shrimp
that
is tasty.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, we're all.
It's like pretty much no one ever wears just polyester. It's always in a blend.
Yeah.
So yeah, you wear a polyester blend, you should be stoned to death.
Pretty sure this shirt that I'm
Doesn't that go for tattoos too?
Yeah, you
Yep.
can't have tattoos, you can't eat pork. There's over 400 rules.
Dante, what's my shirt made of?
Don't eat pork. That's in the Bible.
1%
Yeah. Don't eat
cotton.
pork, don't eat
Damn
shellfish.
it.
Oh yeah.
yeah, like I would love like someone to like follow
Oh, don't
like, the
shave
really
your
obscure.
beard, don't cut your
Well,
sideburns.
like you'd be like, how
Oh,
dare you eat
damn,
shrimp?
I can't
She's
shave
like,
the
but
beard.
I don't care if you use
God
condoms.
dang
that's
it.
Yeah, that's right, Colleen and Oxa, no shaving your beards.
I'm like, I'm gonna look gnarly.
Yeah.
we have
that's big.
a very creative group here.
It's depressing.
I'm depressed. I
Can you
can't
shave
shave
your
my beard.
mustache now?
Yes, you can keep your mustache.
Oh no.
Yay.
I can shave my mustache.
I think you can.
Well, I know
Oh,
Amish people like they won't wear mustaches; they just wear beards because mustaches means
Yeah,
that they're part of
that's
an
me.
army or something.
Oh, not because I'm part of the army.
So
You're part of the
face
devil's
right now.
No, see, that's why
I like
if people
mustache.
bring these things up, I just honestly say, what's wrong with you? Like, it's like, oh, I won't shave my beard because God told me to. When someone says that to me, my response is, I think there is something wrong with you.
I just think beards look attractive.
I think there's something wrong with God.
That's fine.
I mean, why would a whole pile of babies?
I have this little beard. because-
Finally!
No, you see, I have these sideburns and beard, partially because hair doesn't grow here very well, so I shaved it on the other side so it matches. And also because when I shave all this off, I look like I'm 12.
Exactly.
Isn't that awesome?
So,
A very big 12-year-old.
don't judge me.
Very, very
Very tall 12-year-old.
Why'd you have to, like, do it like this?
I
Dave,
know.
you're so tall.
No, I'm rubbing my
Oh.
beard. My beard comes in patchy, and I like to rub it like this.
Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me all the
Richard,
time?
stop rubbing your face and pay
David.
attention.
Wait, David. So you mean all that time when the military kept telling me I had to cut my beard, I was defying the will of God?
Yes.
Oh man.
Oh my god!
That would have been
Mind
perfect.
blown.
And they want you to be spiritually fit.
Yeah.
You are not spiritually fit.
No, you see, spiritually fit just means follow the rules that we tell you to.
Well, I'm not really that spiritually
Get
fit because all I do is sit at home, eat a bunch of giant pies, and read the Luciferian Bible.
Okay, Ben.
I've actually read the Hawaiian Satan's Bible. It's actually pretty decent.
That's
Some
my
parts of it are
problem
crappy.
with the
That's because
religion.
you're an atheist.
Yeah.
That's my problem with religion is that it creates shame for things that are rather innocuous. Like
I know.
like on my Facebook, for example, I see several people, and I just don't say anything to them. But I see them, and they post the most depressing statuses. Like this one guy, he was like, "Without you, God, I'm absolutely nothing. I'm crap. I need to practice praying to you more and this and that." And I just want to be like, dude, why are you killing yourself over talking to God and everything?
So, why are you so depressed because of your imaginary friend?
It was sad. And then this one
No, I'm
girl.
sorry, because of the opinion of your imaginary friend.
It's even more worth
And
it.
then this girl, like she was actually going through it, like on Facebook. She was posting it live on Facebook, talking about how she feels that she has shamed her family and herself and God because she was lusting for a guy. And I'm like,
No, that's called your sex
I'm
drive.
like, that's called nature.
No, you see, because
Yeah.
a lot of these things come from a very false notion of cause and effect that a lot of religious people have. One of them is like masturbation causes a sex drive.
No, kind of the other,
No.
other way around.
Yeah, first you get this, then you're just like, you get a sex drive and you're like,
I must take care of it
Oh,
safely.
look down, where the hands going. That's
Mary!
No, this is Jill.
Oh, okay.
Hey!
So we now know she uses the right one.
that means two things.
They actually...
Masturbate for Jacqueline.
Cornflakes was actually first invented to stop masturbation.
This is actually true. I've heard this also.
I don't think they did a very good
How do
job.
you do that?
No, circumcision. The only reason, I think it first existed just to mark children as like a thing, sort of like branding. But then it resurfaced when like white Anglo-Saxons decided, you know what's terrible for society? Little boys touching themselves. We should make it as painful as possible.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. It just makes me like, oh, well, why did that hurricane happen in the Gulf? Because you touch yourself at night.
Why did the dinosaurs die?
Because you touch yourself at night.
You know the Islamic scholar, exceptional air quotes, said that women that show cleavage cause earthquakes.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Obvious!
Well, obviously, when those things were, you have to set those puppies down,
That's what happens when we wear a
You have to keep
No,
the
he's-
girls.
Oh my god,
you
the
have to keep girls covered.
seismology reader is
Wait,
on the
here's a
roof!
stereotype.
Cover your boobs!
Here's a stereotype right here. Like, there's a stereotype against atheists that atheists are so overly cynical, which I am cynical, but
Have we ever stopped laughing since this thing started?
well, that's one thing. But they say that
It's like
atheists
we all
are.
snorted
They say
steam.
we're over cynical. We're very gloomy. We're very dark. We're evil,
I feel
and
like
all
we're
this
fun people.
craziness. Hello,
Hello.
newcomer.
Hey,
How you doing?
Good as you.
you're live on the internet, right?
there's like like atheists, are these dark, gloomy,
Hey, y'all,
evil
this is my
people and
roommate,
stuff.
Cassie.
But
I
then,
know Cassie.
but then when
I know
Hurricane
she
was it
knows Cassie,
Hurricane
but Colleen
Sandy?
does not know Cassie.
Guys, one person.
But then when these hurricanes hit, you got these people saying, well, it's because the people are evil and they've sinned, so therefore God sent the hurricane. But it's like, wait a second. Like, what was the one that hit Louisiana? It wasn't Sandy. It was,
Because you touch yourself at night.
Katrina.
Katrina, yes, that was Katrina, right?
I'm terrible at
Now,
hurricanes.
if you look at the religious statistics down there in the South, it's very, very religious. So you have a bunch of religious people saying that these religious people are evil, and that's why God sent
No,
the
it's because of
hurricane.
the people in the East, like the
Damn
Northeast,
Yankees.
that are being all anti-religious.
So it's the atheists up in the Northeast that's causing the hurricanes.
The
in
religious
South.
people are suffering because of the non-religious people.
That's not going to get them to stop. It's going to make them do it more.
And too much gay sex.
It's true.
Hey, too
Go
many atheists and too much gay sex.
And too much
That's
moving at
what
the same
causes.
time.
I'm not seeing a
And
problem
too many gay atheists.
But they're coming
Oh
up
my
with,
God, they're gonna destroy
but
the
they're coming up
world.
with all all these dismal,
atheist,
abominable
atheist.
thoughts that makes no sense.
I am not saying that the one guy, the one really old guy who's that
Harold camping.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can't
not
stand
saying
that
all
old
those
dimension
religious
on.
bull. I'm not saying that all of those
Even
religious
that,
bigots are gay, but I'm probably saying that they are all in the closet about being gay.
Pretty sure they all
Wasn't that one
Yeah,
word?
they're
Ted,
just
Ted,
stupid.
wasn't it?
Narnia.
No, man. Ted Haggard is completely heterosexual,
Ted who?
which is a song I highly recommend everyone listens to.
Okay, I just came in. What's the topic?
Depression and religiosity.
Religiosity?
Religiosity.
It's a real
Sounds
word.
like some kind of carbonated drink.
It makes you believe in God.
Religiosity.
Hello, everyone, and get your nice cool glass of religiosity.
Oh, that's what
Why
they
are
got.
you
That's what they're.
conceptual?
That's what
And
they're.
it'll show a guy. It'll show a guy with a long beard with a white suit going like
Yeah.
this.
No, guys, just imagine you with
Pepsi
really,
commercial.
guys, imagine you with a really long beard, flowing in the wind, reclining on like a couch, going like, get your nice cool glass of religiosity.
That's enough for me to be atheist.
Okay, so the connect. The
Also,
that's what they're-
Jesus
that's what they're
Jews from the
selling
same
as,
manufacturers of religiosity.
Is he go?
That's what they're selling on the television when they're saying like, get your holy water, call this number and we'll send you your holy water.
Oh, you mean
It's
bacteria.
a glass of religiosity. That's what you're like.
Okay,
They
so
did
the
a study
connection
on it.
between the two,
Yeah, or the lack of connection between the two.
or the lack of connection between.
They did a study on
We did a couple different. We talked about a couple different studies that linked high religiosity with more depression, or just like the fact you have some religion actually makes you less depressed.
Yeah.
And there's reasons for that. One of the ones I wanted to dip into is having any enhanced delusion about reality tends to make your life pretty awesome.
Santa Claus.
Or actually worse in some
No, it depends. No, this also goes into the idea of why people try so hard to maintain their religious beliefs, because it's like as long as you live in a world where you think that everything's going to be taken care of for you. I was talking to Rachel, but he's not with me anymore. I'll talk to Dante. It makes it so you have to try really hard to maintain it, because if that illusion is shattered, then you have nothing to stand on, and you just crash and explode.
Well,
And they're conditioned to believe
on the flip side, though, free thought society,
Yes.
talking it like keeping my audience in mind.
Yes.
If you imagine a world in which there's a warm, fuzzy kind of benevolent, loving something
Hamster.
that's just gonna, holy hamsters. That's just gonna envelop you in lots of love and affection, and you can screw up, and it's not gonna matter because it's all gonna be okay.
It sounds like you're
Talking
in
is really
springtime,
dangerous.
totally high on weed outside.
It does well, like, or
No,
you know,
but
if,
that-
or
but
if
that's
you're,
the idea.
or if you had a close relationship with, if you have a close relationship with your parents, it's that kind of idea. So I think like when we're talking about like more religiousness being like more religion being inversely proportional to the amount of depressed you are. I think both could make sense. That you could be
I can
like,
actually buy that.
yeah, that it's like some benevolent, like, glowing something or another. Like, once you get rid of, Protestant versus Roman Catholic versus, Jewish, whatever, if you're just sort of like higher power, it doesn't sound like such a bad idea. On paper.
Yeah,
It doesn't
but
sound
that's
like
the
such a
idea.
bad idea.
Like, you hear that all the time. They're like, God is love, God is acceptance, God is happiness. But then they completely ignore, like, the 500 pages where he's slaughtering people.
Well,
They'll still talk about
are
the
we
flood,
talking? Are we talking religion, or are we talking belief in higher power? Allah or God or whatever.
So just a God.
Are
effect.
we? Well, are we talking about belief in God, or are we talking about this? The Bible, I buy into this, because they're two very separate things.
I agree.
Like,
and
if-
there's like the whole like Buddhist versus other
Not-
religions, where it's kind of like just having an idea of a higher, like not even a higher power, but just a
Yeah.
force that
Yeah.
is in control of everything out there and also kind of looking out for you.
Like, colors of the wind type thing, where like at the end of my high school years, I bought into a concept called deism, which is belief in like some kind of higher power-ish, not really having a name or like a set, like these are the books you have to read.
Just an ultimate being.
Just like an ultimate, like a, you know, like a Colors of the Wind type thing, where the squirrels talk to the trees, talk to the people, and everything's sort of interconnected.
But do you think that this force knows that it exists, or is an actual thing?
See, that was the part that I never quite, that it was just sort of like a comfort in knowing at the time that there was like some kind of life force, Well, but it wasn't even like no, but
life force. It's just on Earth.
Well, yeah, but some kind of like interconnectedness between all things.
It's called evolution.
Talking about.
No, but like not necessarily like this is God and you spell it G-O-D with a capital.
I completely agree.
Type thing.
And I would say that actually a lot of people that call themselves Christian or Islamic or anything are actually that kind of religious.
Like
they just kind of tie in the religion of their family because it's convenient.
So, because I actually, go ahead.
Oh yeah, we started late, so you can go in 5 minutes.
Okay. Oh, okay.
We'll just we'll push the whole show back.
We got a time left clock here.
Because my family left the Catholic Church because it was lots of guilt and depression and more guilt and even more guilt. So we actually once
the idea of Catholicism is you have to guilt them into hating. You have to guilt them into loving God.
Well, we
That's
left
a really
the
bad
Catholic.
approach, in my opinion.
It's really successful.
Well, success is a relative term because yes, you get a lot of Catholics, but none of them are happy Catholics. You get a bunch of really depressed. Well, no, even if you pray, you're still guilty.
This depends on what the goal is.
Yeah.
I think the goal is to make clergy as wealthy as possible, and they've achieved that goal.
Wait, are we talking about clergy or the government?
No,
clergy are different. Okay, so enough hating on the clergy.
I like the holy name.
I am.
Yeah, right. But that there's two separate things that you can either be really into, for example, the Bible. You can be like really into, page, chapter, whatever, You can be like really into word for word interpretation, or you can be like the general idea is, Jesus wants us to love people, or you can go even. Well, you can go even further and just be like, something's looking out for me, man, which sounds a lot like you're on weed, except.
But this is where I actually, it's a weird feeling because I almost have more animosity toward liberal Christians.
Really?
No, because hardcore Christians, obviously they're horrible people.
Well,
that's just a given. But if
Roman Catholics or Protestants, though,
what?
just.
Well, anyway, just It's just the idea is that if you're very liberal about your belief, you have nothing to stand on. You don't have a foundation for what you're believing at all. You're just kind of like, I think this is good, and that's pretty much good enough for me. Which is fine if that's where the conversation stops, but it's not. Because that tacit admission that you believe in the book supports the people that take the horrible things out of it.
They're like the.
It's the whole faith and faith syndrome.
Is it guilt by association, basically?
Yeah, it's kind of like if you completely reject all the bad stuff in the Bible, write a new Bible and believe in that.
Are you saying they're the ones that allow the really conservative Christians or
to kind of get away with everything?
Exactly.
Well, I disagree with that statement. There's not everyone believes in the same things as everyone else. Everyone has their own opinions, their own biases.
I completely agree with that. But the problem is that believing in any of it without a really good, I'm just going to say it outright, without a good evidence-based foundation, it gives credence to all the other faith-based positions. It's promoting the idea that faith is a good basis to believe stuff for.
I had
What?
I had a discussion with a friend of mine that faith isn't necessarily tied to just contemplate this for a minute. Faith as a word isn't necessarily tied to religion.
Well, we have to define it. What do you mean by faith?
That's what I'm saying. Is faith isn't necessarily as a concept, like believing in something, having faith or trust in something isn't necessarily tied to religion. I can have faith and trust in David that when I leave here, he's not going to try and stab me. I have faith in your character as a nice guy that you're not going to go out and stab me. That has nothing to do with God. I can pray as hard as I can.
Why do two people simultaneously two people simultaneously said that's a bad idea.
No, but as an example, like, I can either, have complete faith in David as a person. I can be like, he's a good guy. He's not going to stab me. Or you can take it as the religious, and you can pray real hard. Like, I know David may be a real jerk, but
seconds.
God, don't let him stab me.
No,
there's
because
two
this is why you
different-
need to define faith really clearly. Because I kind of go with the Matt Dillahunty definition, which is faith is the reason people give when they, or is the excuse people
15
give when
seconds.
they don't have a good reason.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to take our brief 15-minute break.
50 or 50?
15. And we'll come back with our next segment, which we would love to hear from you guys. Email us at drexfreethought@gmail.com. Have a nice several minutes. Goodbye.
Hello there.